When I first walked into this building, I was completely in love. You feel special every time you walk in here. And so the overwhelmed piece wasn't how are we going to get this done? It was, this is so amazing. I can't believe I'm inside of this space right now. So the theater holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts. One, because it was originally a segregated community and theater where you didn't feel welcomed. And so once the transition and the demographics of the neighborhood changed, the only way the theater could survive was to cater to the African American community.
Well, when the neighborhood turned over and this Forest Theater lit up, I mean, it was like a beacon. It had that big ball at the top. You could sit down on the lower level.
And so a place that you weren't once welcomed, you were able to now walk through the front door. They were playing movies that were for the Black population and the Black community.
Then in the 60s, it turned into a club. So that was when they started to bring in national acts. Gladys Knight and the Pips, the Dales. I was here for Ike and Tina Turner. The Forest Theater put Dallas on the national map for entertainment. But it was kind of like our version of Broadway. You get a chance to see the Forest Theater was right down the street from the fair. And so after the fair, people who had kinfolks here would come to the theater, come to the Forest Theater. That was big time, to come to the Forest, man.
The reason why this is the Forest Theater is the anchor of the community in the minds of the people is because of all the things that happened here. It was a place where people could come and enjoy themselves, celebrate the culture, just really express the joy that was in their hearts and also the pain that limited them.
All of the desegregation movement, all of the demonstrations, everything that was happening in Mississippi and all those places was buried in the newspaper.
As it is, they say we're not ready. That's the first thing you hear. He's not ready for it. How can I give him something he's not ready for? But I am ready. I have been ready.
People don't know, but the Montgomery bus boycott, one of the catalysts for the civil rights movement, was planned in Dallas. They met down at a lady named Miss Craft, Miss Juanita Craft. They met down at her house, so it wasn't front page coverage.
We are saying that we are determined to be men. We are determined to be people.
So there was a systemic solution for the problem of the Black man, and that was to zone him into a corner and box him off. And then if you lay along beside that, the way highways have developed with no regard whatsoever, it would appear, to the needs and visions and dreams of neighborhoods that were displaced by these highways.
People lost their homes, they lost money, they lost opportunity to invest. And so this was intentional efforts to demobilize this community. So for example, you drive by the Forest Theater and it's been boarded up for years.
We just learned to play the game. It's called we learned to wear the mask. You smile when you wanted to cry. It was really a sad occasion. It's almost like watching a relative decline, and it's nothing that you can do.
A long pathway of continuous poverty that leads deeper into that poverty is an unsustainable policy. It's unsustainable morally, and it's unsustainable just in terms of what it takes to make a city work.
Tonight, an iconic South Dallas treasure has a new owner, and neighbors hope some new life.
When we first acquired the building, one of the things that I knew was really important was community engagement. Hearing voices, hearing what people wanted this to be for their community, and how could it serve as an asset.
We set about looking at this project from a holistic point of view, and we saw it as a potential not just to restore a building, but to restore a community as a catalyst that can spark all kinds of development. Not just this one block or this one neighborhood, but the entire community of South Dallas.
Nothing will look the same as it is now, but everything will look the same as it was before. This is a historic restoration. There will also be a rooftop, which I'm very excited about as a new addition. And the community said we wanted a source of food as well. There was also a request from the community to bring new educational opportunities to the community in the neighborhood. So the retail space in the front will be transformed into 13,000 square feet of educational opportunity in the arts. So that is a podcast room, broadcasting station, a movement room, a design studio, an artist in residency lab. So we were very intentional of working with the community around the design to respond to the desires and needs of the area.
Most of what we're doing should have happened before. That's why I love being involved in an old building that comes back to life. It keeps its character. But really, it's bringing it back to what it should be. This is an historic part of the city.
So the theater will serve as the anchor for the neighborhood revitalization effort that we're working to bring to South Dallas. We also know that a key piece of that work is educational opportunities, but really high quality education. So creating a cradle to college education pathway is key for us. Through our partnership with the Dallas Independent School District, the MLK Learning Center has now been transformed into the MLK Arts Academy.
If we put the right things into these students, it's going to be amazing what they're going to deliver. And they'll have an equal life's chance in this community. And I want them to stay in this community. I want them to stay in South Dallas. And so if we do it right, we have a chance to pull this off.
One portion of our overall master plan that will go well beyond the theater is the development of mixed income housing and various kinds of housing stock. It's going to be the sky's the limit in the psyche and in the community that's going to experience the benefit of it.
This is pretty exciting on what it can be, but really I wanted to personify the definition of equity, of seeing people of all colors, all backgrounds, all socioeconomic levels really thriving and living together and learning amongst each other. There is no more ignoring south of 30. And that's why this work is important, because this demonstrates how valuable everyone moving in that same direction towards the same cause is for this work.
There is something to be built here that is meaningful and that is unique from any other place in Dallas.
The Forest Theater being here on Martin Luther King, it's a really important piece to bring back. And to disrespect that just isn't good for the nation, isn't good for Dallas, isn't good for this part of Dallas.
If you have any kind of conception of fairness, any inkling that justice matters, I mean, you're going to be moved by this story and by this opportunity.
You know, you can admire the problem for so long and throw out the statistics. I like people who want to do something about it. The school district can't do it by ourselves. The community can't do it by themselves. The city can't do it by itself.
But we need to build the kind of friendships and partnerships that aren't truncated at the start, so that people of color have a chance to really excel because of this new atmosphere, or this atmosphere of opportunity.
And so I think when people can see the art of the possible, they'll start believing, and that when the lights go on, they're going to say, wow.
I hope they feel pride. I hope that when the marquee is illuminated, that they know people care about them, people are willing to invest in them, people are willing to work together for the change for the community and the neighborhood.
And that big red ball and the green lights, all I'm gonna be able to say is, South Dallas is back, baby.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. Let freedom ring, and if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring.